them how to make automatic beds better than what they are here at a much cheaper cost. For instance, it costs about 25,000 rupees to have a medical bed in India, and he believes that for 45,000 he can get an electronic bed, you know, that'll go up and down with the buttons and all the rest. Of course, power is a problem there, but he believes he can do that, so he's making a prototype, and once it's accepted, he's on his way to becoming a business person.
What they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
There you go.
He took a problem, you know, and turned it into a winning solution for a lot of other people.
I love stories like this.
They make you feel good, right?
Yes.
So here's another story that should make our viewers feel good. Take a look at this, folks. This looks like an Indian rupee bill, but it's a 0 rupee bill, and the purpose that this bill serves is, in India, if you know the ways of the world, you know that bribery sometimes will get you what you want in India. But there's a new movement there to stop bribery. And what they're doing is they're asking people to hand these out. And what they have is a picture of Gandhiji, who, of course, you know, is against corruption. And the idea is you promise to neither accept nor give any bribes. So if someone is asking or expecting a bribe, you just hand them this bill and say, I don't abide by this. I believe in Gandhiji, and you know, maybe that will inspire the person who's trying to take the bribe into also getting away from those practices.
You know, one of the other things that they have is there are 5 systems of governing. One, of course, you have the administration, one is judicial, one is elected, and one, of course, is media, which is the 4th state. But the 5th state, they say, is the people that also have to dictate how they need to be governed. You know.
And that's what this says here. The 5th pillar is supposed to be the collective conscience of the nation of India. And I like things like this because it's a sign that we are moving forward and progressing out of some of our bad habits.
Folks, in Manassas, Virginia, they're teaching engineering in elementary school, starting from kindergarten.
They can't even spell engineering.
That's right. By the way, a curriculum has been designed by Museum of Science in Boston. It has been sold in 50 states and 3,000 schools. They want to start engineering from kindergarten.
I think it's brilliant. Because if you remember, it was years ago that the language specialists figured this out. If you do immersion teaching using the language right from kindergarten, the kids are fluent by the time they're in 6th or 7th grade. So why not do this with engineering? We're always talking about how we're falling behind the technology curve compared to India, China, here in the United States. Start the kids early.
That's what they have done because they know President Obama has made it a mission to make sure this country produces a lot more engineers. You know, he wants kids to learn not only the computer language, but at the same time, engineering as well as mathematics. So the time is right for the kids to learn engineering. But you know, we used to learn engineering when we were kids. I mean, we had that Lego things.
Well, you know, those toys.
We had those engineering sets that we used to make airplanes and the others out of.
But
I mean, it's the same thing.
But you don't see those toys out in the mainstream anymore, right? I mean, they're on the back shelves at the Toys R Us because all the video games and everything else is out front. That's what the kids are looking for. But I think this is good, especially for girls, because girls are sometimes late bloomers when it comes to math and science, right? And they learn to play with their dolls and whatnot early on in life, but if they start getting exposed early and realize they're good at those things just as good as boys, I think you'll see more women entering the field.
They're actually teaching kids how to protect your garden from rabbits coming in to eat it. So they have to design a fence. They have to make sure that the fence
They're solving problems.
Yes, they're solving problems. And it's amazing. And I like the idea. I really feel that the kids should learn how to spend money,
yes,
how to make food, and how to engineer a problem solution.
It's funny, you know, as we become more technology-oriented, we're giving up on our simple skills, like, you know, how to sew a button or how to cook home ec, right? I mean, these are all courses that seem ancient and old to us now, and yet there's a very practical purpose and need for them as an adult to have those skills, and when you want to have those skills, it's very hard to go and find a class to teach you how to sew or, you know, to teach you those basic life skills.
And it is very hard to learn them when you're older.
Yes, well, that too. On that same note, Ramesh, I'm glad that you said, you talked about the kids. I got some feedback recently about the show that we talk so much about politics and business. Sometimes the kids in our audience can't relate to all the stories we talk about. So there's two here that I thought would be really good for the kids. One is, I'm sure they're all watching World Cup soccer.
Yes,
right?
I am.
And it's very interesting to watch. And, of course, there's no real Indian players in the World Cup soccer, but that wasn't always the case. This is an interesting little factoid that I came across I wanted to share. Did you know India actually qualified by default for the 1950 FIFA World Cup? They got in because all the other teams withdrew. So, that being part of the whole picture, the Indian players, however, were unable to play in the match. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the match rules indicated they had to play in boots. And in India, they didn't have shoes. The team was actually known for playing barefoot. And therefore, they were not allowed to play in the World Cup because they could not play bare feet. And as a matter of fact, there's a really poor quality picture, but if you can see the players, you can see the shields that they've won, but pay attention to the feet. The feet are actually bare. They are used to playing World Cup soccer in India in their bare feet. Goes to show you that India was on the world stage once upon a time. We just couldn't get there because we didn't have the shoes for it. Something else for the kids if they're watching the World Cup. Did you know, last week we talked about plastic bottles and how much trash they generate. Well, there are people out there who are putting their engineering skills to use, and they have turned some of those plastic bottles into Nike uniforms that the players are actually wearing when they play soccer.
Whoa.
This seems unbelievable, even to me, but it's quite true. Nike, Coke, Reebok are turning to recycled plastic and turning them into athletic clothing for the players to wear.
Oh, that's such a good news.
In fact, this would lead to 30% reduction in overall energy to make these uniforms compared to using, polyester, which would have to be manufactured. And it takes 8.5 bottles to turn out one shirt. And if you're interested in the company that's actually doing this, they're called Drink to Wear shirts.
This is a very good idea, and somebody should copy them. It's okay to copy them.
Well, they're not cheap. These shirts are expensive. They're like $70, but, it might be worth paying that if I'm keeping 8.5 bottles every time, I wear a shirt. I'm keeping those 8.5 bottles out of a landfill. People who might not want to spend $70 for a shirt like this, if the shirt says this is made from recycled plastic bottles, I might buy it because I'm doing my part. That's a wonderful logo. It's a wonderful logo.
Yeah.
Before we go, though, Ramesh, I just wanted to take this chance to wish you a very happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you very much.
And to wish my own father a very happy Father's Day. And to all the fathers that must be watching the show today, we want to wish you a wonderful day tomorrow. Namaste.
Namaste.